There you see now how all your so-called power counts for absolutely nothing. How your entire empire of destruction comes crashing down, all because of one little cherry. One little. What a lovely ballet. It seems so full of form and color. One little. One little.
Hi, it's Mo. Here's Irving, and today I want to start a new series on my channel called something like In My 40s Diary, or Life in My 40s, or Join Me for My 40s, or something like that, because I see a lot of people making content about in my 20s diaries, in my 30s diaries even, but I never see people making content about older people on the internet, on social media, on BookTube, on YouTube in general. And I think BookTube actually is a place where I see more older content creators making content in a normalized way. Like, I feel like almost all of the older content creators that I see making things for the beauty industry or anything like that are like really emphasizing how much different it is to be older, and how much you have to like catch up to the young people, and how much you have to like do things, I don't know, that are age appropriate and that aren't age appropriate. I'm not even sure like how to describe what I'm saying and what I'm talking about. I just see like older content creators not just like living their lives, doing things the way that young people do them. They're like almost acting like they have it all together. They're almost acting like they're in a totally different state than young people. And of course we are. Like, your life is very different from your 20s to your 30s to your 40s, and I would say all within those decades is very different as well. My early 20s compared to my late 20s were, you know, worlds apart, and my 30s to my 40s are very different. But I think the illusion that people want to give is that they've got it all together by their 40s. They know what they're doing. And I think that's partly like societal. Like, I think society says that you're supposed to have your shit together when you're 40. You're supposed to have had your career sorted, your life sorted, you're supposed to be married, you're supposed to have kids. And that's just not the case for a lot of people. And it's definitely not the case for me. I mean, I do have some things sorted. I have a career that I love, and I have a husband that I love. But for me, I think my life has progressed in a different way because I never tried to fit in with a specific idea or ideal, and I never tried to conform to society's requirements at any age, but let alone at like a certain age. Like, oh, you're supposed to, you know, have a long-term relationship by the time you're 25, and you're supposed to have a career by the time you're 30, and blah, 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 blah. I got into my career very early, and right away I realized that that was what I wanted to do with my life. I'm extremely lucky in many aspects of my life, and that is one of them. Extremely privileged, extremely content and happy. I am generally, aside from like having seasonal depression and other mild depression, a very content and happy person. And I'm a very lucky person in that everything I've ever wanted, I've gotten in one form or another. But that doesn't mean that I don't struggle with things. That doesn't mean that I don't sometimes feel untethered or unsure of myself. That doesn't mean that I know what I'm doing all the time, or even how I got those things that I wanted in my life. Sometimes those things just fell into my lap. Sometimes I worked hard and I got them. So I would say like my career in the service industry is something that, although I always wanted to work in the service industry and I always thought that that would be a good fit for me, I didn't realize was going to be my full career until I actually started working in it, and I really came to realize in my 20s how much I loved the service industry, and that has continued throughout my life. So one of the things on this channel that I've been kind of contemplating doing is talking about my career, and I think the In My 40s Diaries series would be a perfect place to do that. I talk a lot on the channel about sustainability and my sustainability journey and how I try to lead a sustainable, low-waste lifestyle as much as possible. I try to lead a low-plastic lifestyle as much as possible, but you're always changing, you're always growing. There's never going to be a point in your life, as far as I can tell, that you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm perfectly sustainable. Oh, my career is perfectly where I want it to be and what I want. For me, I'm very lucky that, again, with my career, it's not something that I'm find stagnant. It's something that I want to progress in. But unfortunately for sustainability, I feel like I've come to, in the last few months, well, in the last few years, really, since COVID, I've come to a point where I am stuck, and it is something that I need to work on to get better at. I think in this series, we could talk about reading, and we could talk about my reading life and what starting a booktube channel has done for me, and my like hopes and dreams for my booktube channel, things like that. We could talk about relationship stuff. We could talk about having cats. We could talk about not having kids and never having kids and never wanting kids. We can talk about things like when you fall down. I have a cut on my face and my glasses are broken and scraped because I'm waiting on new glasses. You know, you would think that in your 40s, or a lot of people would think that in their 40s, they would have had it together enough to not have to worry about that kind of thing, to not have to worry about needing to get an eye exam to be able to get new glasses because you fell on your face and broke your glasses. But the reality of the world and the reality of being in your 40s is that sometimes you do need to worry about that. Sometimes you need to worry about financial things, even if you have your career sorted out. Sometimes you need to worry about relationship things, even if you have a loving relationship. So there's a lot of things that this In Your 40s diary could encompass. And certainly books are a huge part of my life. This is a booktube channel. I've always wanted to talk about different things on my booktube, so it's not something that is out of the blue. I've always talked about sustainability. I've always talked about those things. So this is definitely going to be like a changing, growing, evolving chapter on the channel, a new series on the channel. But what I would love to know from you is what you would like to see. Do you watch In My 20s Diaries? Do you watch In My 30s Diaries? What would you like to see from an In My 40s diary? What was your experience in your 40s if you are older than that? What are your expectations for your 40s if you are younger than that? Let me know in the comments below. And I think we'll just kick this off with like a couple of weeks in my life, kind of go through a few things, different times, different places, different things that have happened. Definitely falling on my face recently was one of them. That wasn't fun. So I fell because I was walking home from work. I stopped at Little Free Library. I found a very cool magazine that I wanted to take home, and I was very excited about it. And I was looking at it instead of looking at the ground or paying attention to where I was walking over a notoriously uneven section of the sidewalk, and I tripped on the sidewalk and fell. I had a little bit of scrapes on my hands. My knees are really scraped up. My shoulder was badly scraped. Some road rash. I had road rash on my face, the cut on my forehead, and I was bleeding like crazy all over the place. So I called my husband right away. He came and got me. Not because I was shaken. I was totally fine. I didn't lose consciousness. I didn't hit my head. I was totally okay. But because I was bleeding like a lot, and I didn't think it was wise to walk another 15 minutes home with blood all over you. I scared him definitely more than I scared myself. Once I realized that my eye was okay, I was fine. It was very unexpected, and I definitely broke my glasses. I really shouldn't even be wearing them because they're really twisted and broken, and they like give me a headache. But because I can't see without my glasses, I do need to wear them sometimes. So this was something unexpected. I tried to go get a new pair the next day, and because my prescription was very expired, because I hadn't gotten a prescription since before COVID, I couldn't get one. So I did end up making an appointment. I did go to the eye doctor and get a new prescription, and I have ordered the glasses pretty much at this point. Hopefully I only have to wait a week for them. It might be slightly more. Something that I don't like is feeling out of control. Something I like to do is like know what I'm doing, have a plan, be in control, be able to expedite things, be able to make the process work. You know, I'm a manager, I'm in the food service industry. I do things to help people streamline their processes, and I try to make every other job around me easier by efficiency and kindness, getting things to work. Getting things to work the way they should. And so like for me, this process is very difficult. Not having eyes is very difficult. Not being able to see. I can't drive because my glasses are so messed up that I can't see right. I can't drive without my glasses. I can't walk around that much without some sort of glasses on. I did find an older pair, which also gives me a headache because the prescription is so old, but at least I can walk around outside without falling down. It's hard for me to cook. It's hard for me to do anything. You know what it's not hard for me to do? It's not hard for me to read, which is awesome because I only need my glasses for distance. So close up, I'm good. So I have been getting a lot of reading done in the last week since this happened, which is awesome. That's something I appreciate and I am appreciative of. It's always going to be something you think you have it together and you don't. You want to stay in control, but you can't always. And that's just life. And I think that happens in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. For now, just let me know what you think of the idea of this series that I want to do, of these styles of videos. If you like them, I will definitely list below some of my favorite of this kind of video, and let me know what you think. My glasses are still broken, and we're gonna try to do this without wearing my glasses. As you might know, as you've seen, my kitchen is a mess. It's perpetually a mess. There's always never enough space. There's always too much stuff. In June, I tried to like redo the kitchen a little bit. I cleaned the refrigerator out, which I hadn't done in a long time. I cleaned all the counters. We put up this new shelf, but I didn't clean like this area over here, which you can't see. So I'm gonna try and do that today. First things first, we need to tackle like the main part of the kitchen. So let's work on that. Don't forget that when you put things in for recycling, they need to be clean. So you have to wash your recycling before it goes in the recycling bin. Not fun, but needs to happen. Tea bags a lot of times have plastic, and they do have like metal, but I do put the tea in and then throw away the other part. We save all our containers. I have to go through those. The same goes for stuff like this. We always keep tin foil that we get food in. We always keep like paper in case we need to use it. I have to put my glasses back on because I can't see even that far. Here's Irving. thought the perfect way to end the first in my 40s diary, would be to show off my new glasses as soon as I got them. But then my new glasses took many weeks to actually show up. I was without eyes for quite a long time. It was not the easiest. And then one thing and another thing happened, and now here we are almost 6 months later. It is February of 2024 already, but I never gave up the idea of wanting to do this in my 40s diary. And in fact, the first few months, the end of 2023 and the first few months of 2024 were not my favorite. They were not the best for me. They were not the start of the year that I was looking for, or really the end of the year that I was looking for. Everyone's fine, the cats are fine, we're fine, I'm fine, but it wasn't quite what I was expecting. So even more so now than when I started the idea for this in my 40s diary, I think it's important to chronicle the years that I'm having. I'm about to turn 45, and although I would never say that I live a typical life, I think it might be beneficial for people to see the life that I do live. So thanks so much for joining me today to watch a very old beginning of a vlog and a little bit of a current vlog. Thanks so much for joining me on the journey of my booktube and of this channel and of my life. I think this is going to serve a really great purpose for me, as well as maybe being beneficial to some other people in their 40s, or some other people in their 30s looking forward to their 40s, or people looking back at their 40s, by being a visual diary and a way to remember life in my 40s. I'm glad that you're all here with me, and I'm glad for everyone rooting me on. I'm super excited to share a little bit more of my life and to make some more vlogs like these that show a little bit of my day-to-day, a little bit of my month-to-month, a little bit of my year-to-year in my 40s diary. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.